Good evening. Welcome to the first edition of CodeUp Indore. I'm Mansa, I'm your host for the evening. So we have been to Indore before with two other sessions. We hosted it at Field's office. So that session is called UpStart. So UpStart is our series that we do for startup entrepreneurs, and CodeUp, the session today, is a series that we do for developers, where we bring in domain experts to talk to you about a certain topic that we think is relevant. So UpStart and CodeUp is a series under PayU's Startup Outreach Program. And PayU, as you all know, is one of the leading payment service providers in India. We are across sectors like SMEs, airlines, and of course the startup community. That is why we do these sessions, because we want to interact with the startups and we want to know their problems and we want to discuss certain topics like these. So without further delay, our first session in CodeUp today will be dotJS 101. Our speakers for the evening are Mayank Kumar Sharma. He's the CEO and co-founder at Incorporation Private Limited. Mrinal Jain, he's the front-end engineer at Field, and he's also the Facebook Developer Circle lead for Indore. And we have a final speaker for the evening, Prashant Singh Chouhan.
It was not too big, not too low. But we started कि हम एक product बनाते हैं. We'll start. Keep in mind, we will develop a product. And the purpose of the product was to go paperless. We plan out an online exam platform and start making a product. After the 6-month investment, we developed a product where the admin was developed through HTML, CSS, Angular JS. That is the web application. A student was our prominent client because that was the online examination application. So we developed a mobile app through Android because the most of the students has Android phone. And I told you we had very limited budget, so I exclude the iOS. This is the year. I only consider the Android, and I raised the iOS. We are not able to develop this iOS application because we are having a less of fun. We are supposed to think about our servers, we are supposed to think about our developer, infrastructure investment, and all these things. After developing this Android application, when we go the live, after 2 or 3 month experience, few of my team come to me and say, "Ki sir, we are lacking in one front." Ask where? Sir, our more than 30% clients are untouched. I ask why? Because they have the iOS based phone. And we are not providing any solution for iOS based application. So we are supposed to invest more than 1 lakh rupees to build this iOS based application. When I was working in the service, money was not a big issue because my client was supposed to invest and I'm just supposed to transfer it to my developer's account. So they invest to build the Android application. They say, build the Android application. I charge based on Android application. They give me a task, build the iOS based application. I select iOS developer and assign them the task to build iOS application. But that time, I'm supposed to invest and I'm look out some alternative solution. Because I'm supposed to invest extra 30% cost of my total budget to build a just iOS based application. More than 1 lakh rupees. Being a startup, co-founder of a startup firm, 1 lakh is a very big figure. I find a very good solution. And the name of the solution is React Native. After 1 month research, I find React Native can be the future because it is giving a cross-platform development feature. Means you are just supposed to code once and can run anywhere. It is just like Vora. Write once, run anywhere. We are just supposed to invest for 1 time. Means we can travel for 2 times by having a ticket of single fare. By paying a single fare, we can travel up to 2 times. Cost effective. manager mind jaga and give me his advice कि boss, we should migrate our firm from native iOS or Android to React Native. It can not, because during this 1.5 year we were completely forget our objective. Our objective was not just to build a utility application. Our objective was to build a cost effective application. Cost effective. This one was our primary objective. And during this 1.5 year, we are just involved in developing service-based application. How React Native help us to save the cost? And I can give you the actual figure. We are just supposed to, being a CEO, I can only share you about the managerial and the actually why we endorse this technology. The reason was the React Native comes with the thought that you are supposed to develop for the single time, and you will be able to convert that code for the iOS by making just 10% extra effort. So, अगर हम 10, suppose I'm supposed to develop the online test kind of application or kind of placement kind of application. I'm supposed to have two type of team. One was Android and another one was iOS. In terms of figures, I'm suppose basic average salary of Android developer is 30,000. If I'm supposed to have 300 developers, I'm supposed to pay 90,000 per month. And same thing happen. I'm supposed to hire 2 iOS people. They're having a 45,000 because iOS developers charge more than Android. So once again, invest 90,000 to build this iOS application. Now after investing 1,80,000, I will have 2A. Now, just give 50,000 to one React Native developer. Hire 2 React Native. 1,80,000 will become 1 lakh. Why? Because React Native will give me a pleasure just to convert a native based application into based on Android as well as iOS. A cross-platform application help me out to reduce the cost. It gives me the scalability. And simply, why should we migrate from native-based application to React Native? I would suggest you to reduce the time of development, to reduce cost of development. Yeah, whenever you will go to work on with React Native, you will find a major problem, and the major problem is documentation. React Native is definitely, it is not unstable like React.js. It is the stable. It is becoming stable. Most of the people are opting this technology because it's worth of cross-platform. It is reducing the cost of development, and the client is also aware about this. So they are also looking the developers and the firms who can reduce their production cost, who can reduce their development cost. So I would suggest you, if you are looking to develop a cost-effective application, and yeah, there were so many others like PhoneGap is there to develop a cross-platform application. You may have question like Ionic is also a solution. Why have you migrated to React Native? So there was the phase when we build some application based on Ionic also. But whenever you will read some blogs and some experience from the developers, you will realize the Ionic cannot be a good solution for hardware supportive application. Because when we talk about the Apple's iPhone, all the phones manufactured by single company and the name is Apple. But when we talk about the Android, there are so many firms who are manufacturing Android. Like Jain is there, Intex is there, Oppo, Vivo. And if you are planning to build an Android-based mobile application, we are supposed to provide solution to each and every mobile phone. Ionic can give a solution to develop a static kind of application which is not supposed to interact with the hardware. But suppose you are planning to use some native feature, I think you should migrate to React Native. And how React Native is helping us? Actually, it is reducing the cost of development. And now, when I make a proposal for another product, now we are offering our mobile user interface for two type of phone, Apple as well as Android, with the same cost, 4 lakh rupees. Are you getting me? So now my raise 30% will be in touch, and definitely they can be my prominent client, because the person who is purchasing an Apple phone definitely believe in automation. We definitely like to use mobile apps to book a cab, hire someone, and for the job perspective, if you are looking that how much it can help me out, if you are the student and if you are thinking about that, what am I supposed to do? So I would suggest you just go and check out the jobs in Upwork based on cross platform. You will find a list of vacancies. Lots of clients are looking at cross platform developers, and if you have a technology, you can be easily hired by someone. It's none of the matter you are in third year or you are in final year. If you have a potential, if you have a good technology, if you can serve in a low cost with a great utility, you can offer someone, sir, I have the technology, I can help you out to reduce your cost. Definitely, if you are reducing the cost of someone, the client will take interest in you, because budget plays very important role. I have so many startup plans in my mind, but I have very limited budget. I know there are so many problems. I find so many problems in the society which can be solved through our web app or any kind of software form, any kind of software solution. But I have very limited budget. But if you opt that kind of technology, you can build cost-effective utility applications. And that's why my whole firm completely migrated from Android plus iOS to React Native from 1st June 2018. Now, we are only taking order for cross-platform based applications. We are completely migrated our development from Android or iOS to React Native. So, at last, I would like to also, I don't believe that we are supposed to compare some one technology with another one. Still, I would like to take one of the name of framework given by Google, Flutter. It is also a cross-platform solution to develop cost-effective applications. But I have not very much practical experience of this framework, but made some research and find that React Native is much more stable than this. Definitely Google has provided better documentation, but Facebook people are also working on it. They also open up some WhatsApp groups. If you opt this technology, you can join such kind of groups and you can post out your queries. They will definitely help you out, because they know this is the new technology, and React Native completely gives us the solution to build a native look feel based cross platform application which were untouched by Ionic. So agree, React Native is not much easier due to the lack of documentation. Agree, you are supposed to invest so much of effort. But if you are working on iOS or if you are working on Android, it will not be a big challenge for all you people, because you all are I'm looking everyone. You all are the young generation. You all are the young. ठीक है. और IT में तो वैसे ही 40-50 तक learning should be our first priority. So my priority based suggestion is rather than learning about Android or iOS, start learning React Native. That will reduce the cost of development as well as also give you the pleasure to provide to provide 100% to provide application to capture 100% market, because in India there is a 70-30. 70% people have the Android phone, 30% people have the iOS. But when we go for Europe or iOS, another countries, we'll find a 50-50. Fine. So iOS, please do not exclude iOS during this development. Opt better technology and develop cost platform. Thank you very much. Any question?
Can we convert an Android application to iOS application through React Native platform? Is it possible?
You are supposed to follow, basically you are supposed to develop into a particular framework.
Okay.
I'm not the technical guy, fine. I'm the managerial one. My technical person is here. He can tell you the best option.
Okay.
Fine. But whatever I know, you cannot directly convert Android to iOS. Fine. You are supposed to develop into a framework because every framework has certain policies. And if you are opting the React Native, you are supposed to find it. Yeah, but you can generate it to iOS. So the cost will be the 60% only. You are supposed to invest 60% effort to build Android as well as the iOS based application. But you are supposed to opt the policy of React Native. React Native has certain JS libraries. You are supposed to opt the policy of JS, and you can do it. But yeah, after developing your application in React Native, you can build both kind of application, Android-based application as well as the iOS-based application.
So I have to code according to the React
Yeah,
Native platform.
definitely you are supposed to code according to React Native. You cannot like you are supposed to code in Android Studio and convert to directly iOS. You are supposed to opt the React Native platform. I would suggest you macOS can be a better option if you are planning to generate iOS based application through React Native, because you can go with the Linux also. But as per my personal experience, I would suggest you install macOS and develop your code on React Native and convert into both Android as well as iOS.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
Sir, any lack of functionality that iOS that depends on only iOS development and that cannot be taken through the React Native development?
Actually, I only look out the managerial part. Fine. So I cannot say you this function cannot be available in React Native. But I would like to say one thing. React Native is still under development. People are working on it. All the functionality which are available in iOS is not available in React Native. Agree. But most of the functionalities are available in React Native. So, if you are looking for a specific development, I request you please please Google it. Is this functionality available in React Native or not? Because like whenever we go for Ionic framework and we want to interact with some motherboard functionalities, or we want to interact with some GPS, GRS. When we will go for Google and we'll Google it, you'll find that Ionic framework does not give 100% accuracy. Like.
What for when see Apple usually changes their guidelines of approval of application, and what for that if things are actually I also wanted to shift on React Native, but I just wanted to aware of these things.
Netflix has been shifted to React Native. So many big lumberger is shifting from normal to React Native. Lots of people lots of MNCs are shifting their work from native development to cross-platform. Apple always change their policy, but guidelines. React Native is also, Facebook is also upgrading their JS framework, so they are also adopting it. So don't be bothered about the Apple's policy. They are also working on it, and definitely if you because Apple is supposed to accept this development, because cross-platform development is the future. The basic thought behind the cross-platform development, why I'm telling you it is the future, because it is the cost-effective application. It is giving you, it can save you the 40% of the cost of development, and Apple is supposed to accept. So Apple is also accepting this React Native based applications, and you can upload the number Netflix. There are so many applications who has been developed in React Native, and there are so many multinational companies who has completely migrated their technology to React Native. So this two names are in my mind, but no issue. You can develop this kind of application and upload it to Apple. No issue.
I would just like to answer her question on technical basis. So, if you want any specific feature for iOS or Android, basically React Native gives you their individual folders in which you can make changes. Specific changes to Android, if you want some functionality, you can add in that as well. Plus, you have to write the React Native code separately. Okay, so you have both ways. Like you just need JS to implement your React Native, right? And you can also write the Java code in Android and your Swift code in iOS folder. So, yeah, so that
Thank
is
you very
also
much.
available.
Thank you very much for this answer. I told you I am not the technical guy. I am the person who look at the best technology, who suggests the people who what should we are supposed to. I am not suggesting you go and learn the Ionic. I would like to suggest you go and learn the React Native, because Ionic cannot be a solution for each and every problem, but React Native can be, and that's my purpose. Okay. So all the best for your cost-effective application. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayank. So guys, we had passed around puzzle sheets. We would collect it back right now, and Mrinal would be our next speaker. Before he comes up, we'd just go around and collect it all from you guys.
Hello. Hello. Okay. Good evening. So, like, how many of you are college students right now? A lot of you. So just don't believe whatever I say. Like, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay. Cool. So let's start. So myself, Mrinal Jain. I'm a front-end developer at Witifeed. Witifeed, you might have heard. It's a sort of world's second largest viral content company and India's largest viral content company. So my role over there is to sort of make sure that the millions of people which are coming on Witifeed get a streamlined experience of UI and UX, as well as the content which we are showing to them should be relatable to them. That's what my job is. My job over there is. Okay, so let's start with the presentation. So I'll be speaking about how JavaScript frameworks sort of. Basically, I won't be speaking about any specific framework that this framework is good or this framework is good. So I'll be just giving a brief about each and every framework, and then you can decide like which framework you can go with. Okay, so let's start. So first, so since there are a lot of college students over here, I also have a lot of swags with me from Facebook and DigitalOcean and all those stuff. So I'll be asking questions. You need to answer. What is JavaScript? Can we have the mic? I need a sort of proper answer. Just
JavaScript is the programming language that works in web browsers.
is he correct?
Almost.
No.
JavaScript is a scripting language which is used for the dynamic functionality on the web framework on the websites.
Correct. Yeah. So you'll get a swag. Now, what is a scripting language?
Scripting languages which just use
No, not you. Someone else. No one. Okay, you can answer. Yeah.
Basically, we don't have to compile it. We just go and debug it. Sorry, debug it.
So, what is a scripting language? Like, how can we define a scripting language?
Basically, it's the language which is directly implemented on the and running on the web, and we just code and run it. We don't have to compile and just
makes our task
yeah.
task which we'll have to do for sort of the task which will take a human to do a lot of time. Scripting language, we just need to
Yeah, we can say
need
that.
to do this again and again. Right? Okay, thanks. Yeah, so JavaScript is a scripting language, as you said. Okay, so why JavaScript got like this famous? There are sort of many reasons about it. One, it was fast. Second, less server interaction. Each and everything was happening on the user side, right? Nothing was happening on the server side. So it was really, really fast, right? Third, you had a lot of options to sort of do a lot of stuff related to interface, related to interactivity. There were a lot of events. There are a lot of events like mouse touch, mouse hover on the screen, keyboard. There are like 100 keys on keyboard. You can write an event on each and every key, press each and every key down. So you had a lot of options. You had a lot of opportunities to use the user's interaction with the keyboard and with the screen. So that was the main reason why JavaScript got famous. Okay, Brandon Eich built JavaScript. Basically, there's a story about it. Like he was in a lot of hurry when he built JavaScript, right? So another question: how many days it took for him to build JavaScript? You? How many days it took Brandon Eich to build JavaScript? Answer:
Is that 15 days?
no. He is somewhere near. No. He was nearby your quite far.
20 days.
10 days. He told the correct answer. Okay, so it just took him 10 days because he was trying to solve a problem. That's what engineers do. कुछ problem आ रही है तो फटाफट solve करो उसको and then move ahead, right? So the initial phase of JavaScript which was there, obviously it had a lot of sort of bugs and stuff. So and still that's why that is the reason why JavaScript frameworks came upon. Okay, so we'll be talking about a lot of JavaScript frameworks today. So the first one which I would like to talk about is React.js. Okay, so as Mayank sir was like speaking about how React.js helped them, still I am not very good at React. I'm an Angular developer. We are trying to shift over to React, so that's why I'll just give a brief about what React is good at. I think the next speaker would be speaking in a lot of detail about React. So React.js is a framework. It's an open source JavaScript library which is used for building user interfaces. Now, what does it mean? I'll be expecting a lot of answers from you because this should be an interactive session. Anyone who can sort of give a small brief about what React.js is? Okay, so let's start. Yeah.
React.js is a cross-platforming platform language, and we can build code. It can run on both Android and iOS.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah. So I would like to tell you 3 or 4 main advantages of React.js. So first of them is virtual DOM. So how many of you know DOM? A JavaScript DOM or a HTML DOM? You know it, right? So, okay. So just to understand the importance of a virtual DOM and the importance of React.js, I would like to explain what DOM is. So whenever you guys open a website, right? How many of you know inspect element करके DOM जैसा देख सकते हैं? Right, you know it, right? So वो जो कुछ भी code दिखता है, that's a document object model. Okay, so whenever you use JavaScript, basically you're trying to interact with the DOM. Okay, so when you're writing a JavaScript code, for example, let's say you're trying to add a list item in your UL. Everyone is familiar with the HTML? Okay, so whenever you're trying to add a list item and another li in your UL, you'll write a JavaScript code for it. Okay, so what JavaScript will do is JavaScript will repaint again the whole UL for you. Okay, it will repaint. Basically, it will recode the complete UL for you. Okay, and then show it to you. So it takes a bit more time. It takes a bit more time. In case of React.js, what happens is there is a virtual DOM present right beside the DOM. Virtual DOM. So what happens is virtual DOM keeps on seeing कि क्या कुछ changes आ रहे क्या मेरे पास, कुछ changes आ रहे क्या, कुछ changes आ रहे क्या. तो कुछ भी change अगर आता है, तो it changes the specific item. वो बार बार DOM में changes नहीं करता है. So this is a very minute difference. अभी like जैसे मैं बोलूँगा तो like उसका importance समझ में नहीं आएगा, but from a developer points of view बहुत ज़्यादा important होता है. तो एक वो चीज़ होती है जो कि होता है virtual DOM. Now second is JSX. JavaScript सबको पता है, XML सबको पता है. You have a question?
My question is, what is the methodology used in virtual DOM for providing the synchronization in actual DOM and in virtual DOM? It means if we are developing an application in React.js and we are trying to modify a list there, or we are trying to add another one list, and that list will be appeared in virtual DOM first, and then it will reflect into our application. So my question is how they interact, what kind of synchronization they provide between actual DOM and in virtual DOM.
So probably I won't be knowing the answer to that question because still I'm new to the React.js technology. Yeah, so that's why.
Sure. I just want my
I
question
went a
answered.
bit deep into it, so I'll be speaking about Angular. It's okay. If you want to answer it right now, you can do it so that it would be clear for him.
Yeah, pick it up.
Okay, so what you are actually asking is the tipping tree algorithm. Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
That algorithm.
you said that the list, there is no list, it's a tree. The data structure is tree.
Right.
Okay. First it creates the whole tree.
Right.
Okay, and then it uses the tipping tree algorithm to check the whole each and every node. Okay, in the virtual DOM, which is in the RAM, so it's very fast.
Yeah.
I mean, like blazing fast. Okay, versus DOM, the actual DOM, the cost of changing the real DOM versus virtual DOM, the cost is 1 to 1 million seconds. Okay.
Okay.
So it's like really fast. So it checks the node, and whenever it finds a node that is changed in the virtual DOM, then it goes to the real DOM tree and it changes it there.
Okay.
Okay. Only no list is there. Only the tree. The data structure is tree. Okay.
I was just not knowing the name and Diffie algorithm.
Tipping tree algorithm.
Tipping tree
algorithm. It was Richie something guy who wrote it, and it's used in basically front end. Have you heard of Webpack? So it also uses it. The ng build, Angular CLI, everyone is using it right now. But the React actually introduced it. Okay. So,
thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. So probably he answered your question. So there are two more things. Second thing, JSX. Third thing is component based, and the final thing which Mayank spoke about, React Native. So I would like to speak on component based advantages of React, since I am a front end developer. So I hope that my code should be component based, so that whenever I need to change one specific element, कोई दूसरा element बिगड़ना नहीं चाहिए. So in React.js, what you can do is you can make different components. Even you can make CSS for different components. You can call specific JS for different components, so that your code remains safe each and every time. Okay. So that's what the first part is React. So this was an example of JSX which I was giving. So what is JSX? You can write each and everything in just one file. You can include HTML as well. You can include JavaScript as well, and you can sort of make a class and then select an ID on your DOM and then insert that particular component. So this is the sort of one small example of a. Is it visible from the last? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So after React, there are 2-3 more frameworks which I would like to talk about. One is Node.js. So React is mostly Angular is mostly which works on the sort of front end part of the UI, and the Node.js which works on the back end part of it. Okay. So let's talk about Angular then. Okay, Angular. So Angular is something which we have been working on. Like, how many of you guys have worked on Angular before? So you guys are already working on it, sort of, right? Any engineering student who have worked on Angular? No. Okay. Cool. So now let's talk about why Angular is good. React is also good. Now why Angular is good? So first thing, it works on MVC. What's MVC? And I need answer from that side. I'm not asking the full form.
MVC is a design paradigm in which the data is separated from what is visible. Like the application and the data are kept separately in view and model. Controller is somewhere in between.
That guy wants to answer.
मॉडल व्यू कंट्रोलर एक पैटर्न है जिसके थ्रू हम मॉडल्स और व्यूज और कंट्रोलर्स को अलग करते हैं। ये तीनों एक दूसरे से इंटरेक्शन करते हैं, मतलब दो चीज़ों से। जैसे व्यू है तो वो मॉडल से कंट्रोलर से इंटरेक्ट करता है और कंट्रोलर मॉडल से इंटरेक्ट करता है। तो ऐसे ये तीनों में एक दूसरे से इंटरेक्शन होता है। अगर हमें व्यूज अलग भी रखना है, कंट्रोलर्स अलग भी रखना है, बाद में हम उसमें कंट्रोलर्स में भी चेंज कर सकते हैं, मॉडल में भी चेंज कर सकते हैं। सपोज टू भी मैंने अभी एप्लीकेशन हिंदी लैंग्वेज में बनाया है, पर किसी ने मेरे से मांगा कि मुझे जर्मन लैंग्वेज में भी चाहिए, तो मैं मॉडल में जाके हिंदी लैंग्वेज को हिंदी लैंग्वेज के अलावा मैं जर्मन लैंग्वेज भी इम्प्लीमेंट कर दूंगा, तो वो मेरे एप्लीकेशन में रिफ्लेक्ट करेगा। तो इस वजह से हम एमवीसी पैटर्न का यूज करते हैं।
करेक्ट। सो बेसिकली व्हेन जावास्क्रिप्ट वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड, उसमें इतने सारे फीचर्स नहीं थे, लाइक देयर वर नो मॉडल्स और समथिंग, वी जस्ट नीड टू राइट जावास्क्रिप्ट। एक ही पेज में लंबा लंबा से जावास्क्रिप्ट लिख दो, इट वाज टू टीडियस। सो दैट वाज द मेन रीजन व्हाई फ्रेमवर्क्स वर इंट्रोड्यूस्ड। सो एंगुलर का एक बहुत अच्छा सा स्पेसिफिक सा रीजन है कि इट वर्क्स विद एमवीसी। व्हाट मॉडल्स डू इज, मॉडल्स बेसिकली transports the logic in between the user and the controller. Okay, and the second thing, which is view. So view is basically the thing which user interacts with. Okay, and the third thing, controller. So controller, as the name suggests, controller basically controls like which view should be rendered on the user screen and which model should be working right now. Probably that's it. Okay, so second thing, two-way data binding. Okay, so if I ask a question that there's an input box on your HTML view, there are two input boxes on your HTML view, and there's one button which says add, and then you need to give an output which gives addition of those two input boxes. So what code will you write in JavaScript, or let's say jQuery? Anyone? Or at least you can, if you can say the like, amount of lines it will take.
Like you can use get element by ID and take the values from both the
and
input boxes.
Keep the lines counting, like it will take this lines, this amount of lines.
Maybe around 10.
Correct, right? 10. Okay. How many lines will it take in Angular? Or let's say, it's just a basic example because a lot of you don't know about Angular, that's why I'm giving this simple example. What can be done in Angular so that you can add those two input boxes and give the result? Exactly. So there's a directive called ng model. You just need to mention it over there, and then it will do a lot of stuff for you. I'll show you the code. That part is later. I'll come to it after that. We'll talk about that as well. So third thing, templates. So just like React gave the option of components, there is an option of templates in HTML in Angular as well. So let's say I'm making a website which is, let's say I'm making Flipkart. So how many UI components will be there in my website? There will be a card, there will be a shopping list, there will be एक बिग बिलियन डे वाला अलग से सेक्शन रहेगा, फिर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक आइटम्स का अलग सेक्शन रहेगा, बहुत सारे सेक्शन रहेंगे. देयर विल बी अ हेडर ऑन माय वेबसाइट, देयर विल बी अ फुटर ऑन माय वेबसाइट. यस, देयर विल बी लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. कूल. सो लेट्स से अगर मैं इतना सारा HTML कोड एक HTML फाइल में लिखूंगा तो इट वुड बी वेरी 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 टीडियस फॉर मी, राइट? Very very tedious for me. So what Angular provides us is we can divide our code in form of different templates. मैंने एक हेडर का कोड अलग फाइल में लिख दिया, मैंने फुटर का कोड अलग फाइल में लिख दिया, बहुत सारे कोड अलग अलग फाइल में लिख दिए. अब आई हैव द ऑप्शन टू पिक एंड चूज. लेट्स से मुझे एक पेज बनाना है जिसमें सिर्फ शॉपिंग कार्ट दिखेगी, तो आई विल कॉल अ हेडर ओवर देयर, आई विल कॉल फुटर ओवर देयर, आई विल कॉल shopping cart wala view over there, and that's it. That's it. हो जाएगा. So that is the best part of Angular. You can divide your code into different templates and include them later. Okay. Then there's dependency injection and there's directives. So what dependency injection is simply, so let's say I need to include a time picker, or let's say I need to include a loader in my website, any third party thing which I'll have to include into my website. So I can just ask my model that I need this, and it will take care of each and everything. It will include it directly into my code. So that's what dependency induction is. And and the last thing is directive. Anyone heard about directive apart from this group of people from there who is working on Angular? Okay, so there are HTML tags, right? There are HTML tags. Can I make my own HTML tag? I can do that. How? Tell me.
So we will. There are both type of tags in HTML, no? So we can use
What's your
open
name?
tag, Nikhil.
So can I make a tag like Nikhil open curly brace and then close Nikhil? Just
It
like
is-
there's a
the tags
H1
are
tag.
specific, no?
So I can't make
Like
a
there
tag.
are specific type of open tags and closed tags.
So my question was, I'll repeat my question. Can I make a tag which will say Nikhil close open angular bracket and then Nikhil close open, and I'll write my code in between. Okay. Someone else? Do you want to answer this guy? Okay. So with the help of Angular, I can do that. So that is called a directive. Again, I'll ask, is this code visible over there? Okay, so just if you want to make your own tag, you can use this code which is called Angular directive. So what you just need to do is, I really don't want to go into a lot of code and stuff because Angular is still new to you guys. But I would just like to mention this, that if you want to make your own directive, just need to mention which kind of directive it is. Here it's mentioned that it's an E. E stands for element. There's an element in HTML, there's an attribute, there's a class as well. Okay, so whatever you want to make, you can specify it over here. And then you can mention scope of it. Scope is the next level thing. We will discuss about it. Then there's a template. Okay, so in template, you can mention what that HTML tag will replace with. For example, मैंने एक एंगुलर डायरेक्टिव बनाया जिसका नाम है a custom directive. Okay, a custom directive. So in this template, whatever HTML I'll write in this template, this directive will replace this HTML with wherever I'll call that directive. So wherever I'll call this directive a custom directive, ये वाला HTML code visible होगा वहाँ पे. So I can replace this with anything. I can replace this with my name. Whenever I'll call an element with my name over there, this HTML would be visible over there. So this is how Angular provides us an opportunity to make custom directives, right? Yeah, so I was talking about two-way data binding, right? So this is a simple example which I would like to give of two-way data binding in Angular. So before that, what two-way data binding is? Everyone knows about MVC now. Okay, MVC सबको clear है, right? So view say user. You have a question? It's not visible. Anyways, it's a simple code. I'll explain you. Okay, so view is the one जिससे user interact करता है. Okay, what's the use of model? Logic is written over there. Okay, and controller takes care of like which model should be there and which view should be there. Okay, so this is our view. Okay, so I'm writing some stuff and it's directly reflecting over there at the top of it. Okay, how many lines of code in JavaScript or jQuery will it take? Somewhere around like 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. And if I talk about that addition wala program, it will take more lines, right? Let's look at the lines. Now it's working. Okay, so this is a example of how a model is written over there. I'm not sure it's visible to you guys, but I would like to explain. तो क्या होता है ना, ng model होता है. ng model is a directive. It acts like a storage basically. एक storage के जैसे act करता है वो. मैंने उसके अंदर जो भी store कर दिया, now I can use it anywhere with the help of scope in Angular. So in this function, what I'm basically doing is I'm using an alert function which is alerting two things. First, which is the input of that input box, and the second thing is the name. Still. Anyways. It's okay. Yeah. So basically I am alerting two things. First one, which is the value of model, and the second one, the name of the user which I am inputting it into it. Now, how to insert Angular into our HTML. So basically, the first thing which I forgot to mention is what Angular does is Angular provides an extra feature to your HTML. Normal HTML क्या होता है? Basic सा मैंने एक HTML लिख दिया बिना backend के. I would say it's just waste, right? बिना backend के Angular is nothing. HTML is nothing, right? So what Angular gives is an extra feature to your HTML, right? So to add Angular to your HTML, you just need to add a script which calls Angular. Second thing, you need to include a directive which is ng-app, and third thing, you need to mention a controller. So that what ng-app does is it defines a reason that itne area mein Angular would be working. So let's say if I'm defining ng-app in HTML, so Angular would be working in my complete HTML code. Okay, so that's how Angular works. So this was the another example. So what we can do is we'll be having an interaction session after somewhere around 7. So maybe at that time you guys can come over here and ask a lot of questions about this thing. That would be it from my side, right? Thanks.
Thank you, Mrinal. Final speaker for the evening, Prashant.
Hello. Yeah. Okay, so my name is Prashant. Okay, I'm a product engineer at Engineer Babu. Engineer Babu is primarily a service-based company, but we are in process of developing and releasing our own line of products. Okay, so my job is basically to cater need of for services and develop those products. Okay, so I'm a full stack developer, and my topic today is, if you can see it, React.js, Vue.js, or any other JS, the right JS for your product. So we are a services company. We take like any type of technology that you can name related to web, app, Android, and native iOS. We do not do cross-platform. Okay, so we have different clients from whole range of backgrounds. Anyone you can name. We cater to them. We listen to their idea and we suggest them their technical stack and make their product a reality. Okay. So first, just a disclaimer. This is not a comparison of different frameworks because that can wage a war. Okay. So this is just a demonstration of how we decide the right framework for our clients on the basis of their needs. So for the people who are developers who want to become a developers, this will tell you like what type of product if you want to work, what type of thing that you should learn. Okay, and for the companies or representative of companies, those are here, they can take this as a case studies and apply for themselves. Okay, so I will start with just who are you. So you can be a company or individual who is developing a product for yourself. Otherwise, you can be a company or individual who is developing a product for third party or any other person. In the case, if you have your own product, that is really amazing. Congratulations, you have a good idea. Okay, so you have a control over a product. You know where you want it to be in 5 years. But if you're developing for another third party client, then you will have to listen to their needs and suggest the product for them. Okay, so I will start with what options do you have in .js ecosystem? Don't even ask that. There are like many, but I will start with the top three: Angular, React, and Vue. How many of you have heard of Vue? Vue.js. Okay, quite a few. Great. Anyone can tell me about Vue.js in a simple word? Anyone? Those of you who have raised the hand, I think. Okay, great. I will clear that. So first, Angular. So there are actually two variants of Angular: Angular and AngularJS. AngularJS is legacy. Angular 1, which we call, and Angular is like 2, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So we primarily work in Angular. We do not do AngularJS anymore because those of you who are pursuing in AngularJS or thinking of Developing in AngularJS, Angular is going to be drop its support from 2019. So just a disclaimer there as well. Then in Angular is basically a, just like Mrinal told, it's a framework, it's everything that he clarified, it's good. So then I come to React. React is a very, very fast library. That is it. If you want fast, you want React. If you want big enterprise application, you want Angular. And if you just want to spin the idea as fast as possible, you have your idea, you have your needs, but you don't want to invest time. Vue is there for you. I mean, it's like a small thing that everyone needs. Okay, so first I will start with the how you can go into these ecosystems: Angular, React, and Vue. So if you would have been through 2 years ago, it would have been very difficult for you. Okay, these applications, these frameworks were just developing, so there were no like packages to help you out. You had to set up your code from start, Webpack, and everything else. But now there are packages for you. There is Angular CLI for Angular, @Angular/CLI, not the Angular-CLI. It is deprecated now. Then the create React app, it's simple. And then the create Vue CLI for Vue. So what is the difference between these three? We'll choose what is right for your product or your idea or someone else's idea that you will make a reality. Okay. So I will start with the Angular. Angular is good for enterprise applications. What are enterprise applications? Applications that have to stand the problem of time, like of developing and investing is so much. Like it takes 1 year to develop an enterprise application. It runs for 10 years without a change. They will never change it unless something goes wrong. They don't want to change it. So for 10 years it will not change. But the Angular lifecycle, does anyone know the Angular lifecycle here? How much time does it take to release it a new release? Like 6, 7, 8, 6 months. It releases a new release in every 6 months. Okay, so that will be a really big problem for a lot of enterprises, because what if they change it in the next release? Just like in Angular 6, they have changed a lot of things. The basic HTTP module that you use, it's changed, and it's giving a lot of problems now. Okay, so then there is React, which is fast, which is modular, but it has some quirks as well of its own, because if you want to make 1,000 pages application, you won't choose React because it has like really single page component based framework. But in Angular, it's component modulars. SCSS, HTML, and JavaScript logic is contained in a single folder. In React, that is not the case. Okay. When it comes to Vue, it's a small. It's 20 KB in development build, 4 KB in production build. Okay. And it's a completely modular, but it does not have that much features. But I will not suggest you to go with React for enterprise or third-party with Vue for third-party and enterprise applications, just because it does not have big support behind it. So what does it matter to have a big corporation behind a framework? Like there are like tons of frameworks here, but why do we have only Angular and React and not the other ones? Just because Google is supporting Angular and Facebook is supporting React. So this might not seem a big problem for you, but let me just give you an example. This is from another domain. It was an OS, operating system, Apricity OS. You might have not heard of it, but it was my favorite OS. Okay, 1 year ago, till 1 year ago. But the developers of it just dropped it out one day, and my 6 systems were working on it, and they will not ever get the new update just because the community was not there. So I had to like invest like 10 weeks of time to find the new builds of softwares for new OS that I shifted to. So that is like a really good reason. If it shifts, if the Vue community decides it does not want to go there, what will happen to your applications? It's like really bad. So stability is really important if you're building application. I will. Oh, it slept. Great. So let's start planning. Case 1, just like I said, you have to create an enterprise application, different pages. Case 2 is you have a startup, you are a startup that wants front-end interface just for your back-end product, to give it as a SaaS. And the third part is you're just a hobbyist, want to learn new things and make your portfolio page or something. So these three are different modules for which there are different frameworks. But you must be like really confused how you're going to like do it. So I will start with three of those. Okay. Yeah. So this is the Angular, okay, and these two folders are built by Angular CLI. You just have to write one command and it will run it whole. So if I build it and make it a production build, it's like if you can see 227 KB, that is the production build. That is the whole vanilla application that you get from start. You are starting from 200 KBs. If you are a portfolio page, do you think you will want a 200 KB from start? Like you will add then images and all those things, that will become 2 MB page. What will you do with a 2 MB portfolio page? Nobody will see it because it will never load. Simple. Okay. Then we have another option. We have our minimal build. Minimal build, does anyone know here Angular minimal build? What is it? The minimal build is without the testing and all those things that you don't need from the start. You can add it later, but you don't need it actually from the start. If you're not making an enterprise, enterprise are seriously about it. Unit test and all, you won't survive without it. Okay. Then there is React.js. React.js build is really small. If you start, it's 140 KB. So you just chunked out like 50, 60 to 100 KBs just by switching framework. And what is the difference? Only that you will get like different languages and different module structure, and you just removed 50 KBs to 100 KBs from the start. This is just from the start. And when it will minify, it is even a greater distance. This minified version will go to 70 KBs. Angular version will only go to 140. It's to 100% increase. You're only lagging from the start. What will happen when it comes to Vue? Vue is like, and just a disclaimer, these all will do the same things for you. If you develop it, these will do the same thing for you. You won't feel a difference. It is just a technology difference. So this is 23. What will happen when you load 3 websites on your browser? One will open in 0.3 seconds. Another will take for 2 seconds, and next one will take 5 seconds. Which one will you see first? Of course, 0.3 second. So this is the difference of size, and this is, I have not made any change in this. This is just from the start. So it is really important to choose your technology stack. Okay. So I will help you out. It's very simple. Whenever you have an idea, you just write down how much far you can see it, like 1 or 2 months, or 2 years, or 20 years. It does not matter. Just write it down. Okay. Then uh, just write how much users will come on daily. Okay. How much do you want it? Not how much come, like you cannot predict it, but maximum, like 20 users, 2 users, 200 users. It does not matter. But just write those 2 things down. For example, if you are making a website for 2 months time, and it will cater 20 users for each and every day. So that means 20 times 2 months duration, your website will be live, or web application will be live. Do you really want to invest in Angular and like learn TypeScript and all those things, and also you want to learn JSX differently, or you just want to know JavaScript and get started? You of course will want to just get a start on this, because it's just 2 months. You cannot like take 1 month to learn and then create an app that will only run for 2 months. It will be not good for you. Okay. So why Vue is really small and Angular is so much big? It's simple. Vue does not give you that much options from the start. If you want it, you can add it, but only later you like if you see the 200 kb build, you see that all those things you don't need. You won't need it like ever, like TypeScript and ES6 linting. Does anyone know linting? What is lint? Okay. Linting is a process by which the JavaScript checks how it is good written. So TypeScript is the superset of JavaScript. I will surely recommend you to check it out if you have not heard of it. It's like an amazing thing by Microsoft. Okay. So TypeScript makes sure that JavaScript does not do anything wrong. Okay. It puts checks. It will make your life a living hell for developers because it will give you issues even after you have written everything right, just because it sees and feels that it is not right and you will not understand it, but it does it for the right reason because JavaScript is not bound. I mean, there is no type checking, there is no class checking, there is no interface, there's nothing. You can do anything you want. And when developers have the power to do anything they want, they are like really, they can create really bad mess. So TypeScript puts a bound on it, and it's a good bound. You will feel a little like friction in the start, but it will lessen and lessen with time, and it will feel like it was a really good thing. So TypeScript is really good. You can Angular gives it by default the TypeScript, but React you can use JSX with TypeScript. Like JSX is a JavaScript plus XML uh, language which was developed to write logic just inside the HTML text with HTML. So it's really fast. Okay, just because the pre-diffing algorithm. But now Angular has also started using it, so it does not make that much a difference from the performance wise on Angular versus React now, because Angular is also using virtual DOM, React is also using virtual DOM, Vue is also using virtual DOM. But the difference is Angular provides you with so much from the start that I don't think the new developers need that much. But enterprises will surely recommend you to use that. So NPM, anyone knows NPM? Yarn. Okay, so these two are package managers. What does package manager do? It manages packages. So if you see here the node modules, like this is your packages. This is everything that is running Angular, Vue, or React. Angular has like 10,000 packages from a start, React has 6,000, Vue has 2,000. That is lower bare minimum. That is the JavaScript that is behind the scenes. So if you are running like 4 or 5 lines of code in Vue, React, or Angular, you are using the thousands of lines of these packages, and they are there to help you in everything that you use. Why we are not writing our own packages and why we are using others? Because they have already created the wheel. You don't need to create it every time. That is the modularity. And Node Package Manager manages all of this. Like you cannot manage 10,000 packages on your own. That will be a different job. Okay. So what is the difference between Yarn and NPM? So what happened was NPM like 2 years ago, NPM was a mess. NPM was in a bad situation. It was not able to manage packages. So there was a need for new package manager that used the same diffing algorithm to count the number of different packages and dependencies, the tree shaking that we call it now. Webpack developed it and just Yarn used it. So Yarn is yet another resource node manager. So that is the full form. And Yarn was created, and Yarn is very, very, very good in this. So if you are having an issue with Node NPM in your build, just install Yarn and get on with it. No need to like find out why NPM is giving it, because you will never found it. And even if you will find it, it will still give you. You won't fix it. So there is no point of doing it again and again. So there are basically 2 types of errors that NPM will give you when you will develop. First one is access permission error. So it's simple, just use sudo. And if there is another error like npm err or is not equals to, just leave it and use yarn. Simple. don't waste time on NPM. NPM also, so NPM dropped like after coming Yarn. After Yarn was developed, React took up as a default package manager, and even Angular CLI took it up as a default package manager. So Node felt the need for developing the NPM. So they included tests and all those things. But from my experience that we have in our company by developing different applications, NPM has just clouded it. Like it has put things that we do not need. We do not need runs. We don't need to know vulnerabilities every day. We need, of course, need to fix them and update it. But Yarn do them behind the scene. It does not tell us. Just run Yarn and it will do everything for you. So that is the main difference that you will seriously face when you will start with Node ecosystem. If you want to deploy these applications just for development purposes, there are two best things: Firebase and Heroku. Okay, if you are like server side and loves console, you should go with Heroku. If you are like you want to click buttons, you have to see keyboard every time you want to type, just go with Firebase. It's good. It's good for you. It's free. You can push it every time you want. Anytime you want, just write a you don't even write a command basically, but I write a command. So if you just do Firebase deploy, and it will give you a link, and you can show it to your entire world. Buy a 700 rupees domain, or like GoDaddy gives you a discount and you will be 400 rupees, and just make your website online in the night. Simple. Okay. Any questions? I'm done.
Do we have any questions?
Startup wants to build a front-end interface for its SaaS-based product, right? So it first comes down to what is your product. If it is like a service there are three types of services: B2B, B2C, B2B2C, like business to business, business to consumer, business to consumer. So if your service is business to consumer, you will need a fast, like really good looking UI and really fast interface. But if your application is B2B, business to business, you will need a secure transactional way that your data is never wrong. So your server side has to be like doing all the processing and show it on the backend, but front end. But in the B2C consumer purpose, you just send the data to front end and it will render it. If there is some problem, the consumer will just refresh it and it will get one bit. But business to business, it has to be reliable. It should never crash because businesses are really serious about it. So if you want to cater like 1,000 customers per day, if you're catering 1,000, you should go with Node environment, simple Express you can use. If your need is 10,000 to 1 lakh, you should use a production server, PM2. For server side, and for front end side, I will definitely recommend you to go with Angular, because it's like it is ever changing. It's really painful when it changes, but it's really needed. Like when your build gets to like cut by 70 kbs overnight, like production build, you will feel really happy just by doing nothing, just by writing ng update, and it will like save your customers, each and every customer per customer 70 kbs. So just imagine if you're saving 1 kb, if the person is on 2 kb per second internet, which is not a reality here, but I know some places where that is okay. So 2 kb per second, and if you're saving 1 kb of that person, then you're saving half a second lifetime period of per user. So if you have 5 million users, you have saved 2.5 million seconds of lifetime. Just think of what the people can do with that much time. So it's really, really important to optimize. Just think about each and every bit, not even byte, bit that you're giving to your consumers, because that will really make the difference. I mean, if your website does not load in under 3 to 5 seconds, it does not exist. Nobody is ever going to see it. Just don't do it. Simple. Okay. Any other question?
No more questions? Okay. Thank you so much, Prashant. Before we close, our puzzle winners, do we have Ankit here? Ankit Ved. Ravi Shankar, your last number. Okay. Shilpa Gupta. Ashwin. Okay. So a round of applause, please. Thank you all for coming today on a Saturday and spending time with us. We really appreciate the time given and the interaction that you did, interaction you had with our speakers. Special thank you to the three of you. Thank you for coming today and interacting with our audience to such extent. A special thank you to the people from IncuSpace as well. Thank you for the space, and Engineer Babu, Feed, as well as Ichai Indore. So they were our partners for this session, which would not have been in this scale without their help. If any of you all are looking for a payment gateway, you know who to reach out to. We'd be happy to help you all out. And without further delay, opening the session to networking, we have the food, the rolls, and the soft drinks on that side, and our speakers are around. You can always chat up with them. Thank you all once again. Thank you.